Section 26 of Not That It Matters, by A. Milne. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Golden Fruit. Of the fruits of the year, I give my vote to the orange. In the first place, it is a perennial, if not in actual fact, at least in the grocer's shop. On the days when dessert is a name given to a handful of chocolates and a little preserved ginger, when macédoine de fruits is the title bestowed on 2 prunes and a piece of rhubarb, then the orange, however sour, comes nobly to the rescue. And on those other days of plenty, when cherries and strawberries and raspberries and gooseberries riot together upon the table, the orange, sweeter than ever, is still there to hold its own. Bread and butter, beef and mutton, eggs and bacon are not more necessary to an ordered existence than the orange. It is well that the commonest fruit should be also the best. Of the virtues of the orange I have not room fully to speak. It has properties of health-giving, as that it cures influenza and establishes the complexion. It is clean for whoever handles it on its way to your table, but handles its outer covering, its top coat, which is left in the hall. It is round, and forms an excellent substitute with the young for a cricket ball. The pips can be flicked at your enemies, and a quite small piece of peel makes a slide for an old gentleman. But all this would count nothing had not the orange such delightful qualities of taste. I dare not let myself go upon this subject. I am a slave to its sweetness. I grudge every marriage in that it means a fresh supply of orange blossom, the promise of so much golden fruit cut short. However, the world must go on. Next to the orange I place the cherry. The cherry is a companionable fruit. You can eat it while you are reading or talking, and you can go on, absent-mindedly, as it were, though you must mind not to swallow the stone. The trouble of disengaging this from the fruit is just sufficient to make the fruit taste sweeter for the labour. The stalk keeps you from soiling your fingers. It enables you also to play bob-cherry. Lastly, it is by means of cherries that one penetrates the great mysteries of life. When and whom you will marry, and whether she really loves you or is taking you for your worldly prospects. I may add here that I know a girl who can tie a knot in the stalk of a cherry with her tongue. It is a tricky business, and I am doubtful whether to add it to the virtues of the cherry or not. There are only 2 ways of eating a strawberry. One is neat in the strawberry bed, and the other is mashed on the plate. The first method generally requires us to take up a bent position under a net, in a hot sun very uncomfortable, and at any time fatal to the hair. The second method takes us into the privacy of the home, for it demands a dressing-gown and no spectators. For these reasons I think the strawberry an overrated fruit. Yet I must say that I like to see one floating in cider cup. It gives a note of richness to the affair, and excuses any shortcomings in the lunch itself. Raspberries are a good fruit gone wrong. A raspberry by itself might indeed be the best fruit of all, but it is almost impossible to find it alone. I do not refer to its attachment to the red currant, rather to the attachment to it of so many of our dumb little friends. The instinct of the lower creatures for the best is well shown in the case of the raspberry. If it is to be eaten, it must be picked by hand, well shaken, and then taken. When you engage a gardener, the first thing to do is to come to a clear understanding with him about the peaches. The best way of settling the matter is to give him the carrots and the black currants and the rhubarb for himself, to allow him a free hand with the groundsel and the walnut trees, and to insist in return for this that you should pick the peaches when and how you like. If he is a gentleman, he will consent. Supposing that some satisfactory arrangement were come to, and supposing also that you had a silver-bladed pocket-knife with which you could peel them in the open air, then peaches would come very high in this list of fruits. But the conditions are difficult. Gooseberries burst at the wrong end and smother you. Melons, as the nigger boy discovered, make your ears sticky. Currants, when you have removed the skin and extracted the seeds, are unsatisfying. Blackberries have the faults of raspberries without their virtues. Plums are never ripe. Yet all these fruits are excellent in their season. Their faults are faults which we can forgive during a slight acquaintance, which indeed seem but pleasant little idiosyncrasies in the stranger, but we could not live with them. Yet with the orange we do live year in and year out. That speaks well for the orange. The fact is that there is an honesty about the orange which appeals to all of us. If it is going to be bad, for even the best of us are bad sometimes, it begins to be bad from the outside, not from the inside. How many a pear which presents a blooming face to the world is rotten at the core? How many an innocent-looking apple is harbouring a worm in the bud? But the orange has no secret faults. Its outside is a mirror of its inside, and if you are quick, you can tell the shopman so before he slips it into the bag. End of section 26.